Code Cuber, congrats! Nice! Good to see ya. Welcome in, everyone. It is such a joy to have you here. Thank you for hanging out with us today. I am very excited to be kicking off with Tenebris, Terra Incognita. This came highly recommended from Quantic Flux, who's a good friend of our channel. You're all familiar with him, and if you're not subscribed to him on YouTube, you definitely should. Oh, speak of the YouTube devil. Great to see you, Quantic. So, Quantic played this, had an incredible time, and people really enjoyed it. Sent the developers my way, and they sent me the key to this. So we're going to be checking this out. I'm very excited about it. I have no idea really what to get into, other than it's sci-fi, party, RPG type sort of stuff. We'll see how it goes. Can't wait to see what you think here. Sure, absolutely. So welcome on in. It is a pleasure to you. Congratulations, Code Cuber. On the first, welcome in. You are Speed, absolutely. Great to see you, Jack, Virite, Alamod, and Quantic. Cheers, welcome in. I'm so glad to have you all here, and so glad to see us all pursuing forward in the midst of what many have called an apocalyptic economy. Welcome in, welcome in. Blades, great to see you, my good friend. So it's worth noting, we've actually been getting a good amount of people coming in and volunteering their time and efforts to support Fox Hollow Games. If you are interested in that, we have a lot of opportunities across a ton of different spheres, from development to art to graphic design to strategy to documentation to moderation, all sorts of things that there are open volunteer positions for, and I would be more than happy to, you know, try and do everything I can to make that valuable for you, whether that's being a reference or providing a portfolio opportunity. I was just talking with someone earlier today who has been in the stream that is going to support with some website development that they can use for their UX portfolio. Anything we can do to help people get what they need to take that next step, we want to make sure that we're doing. So, did I stream any of the Banana Jam submissions? I didn't, Alamod, because, which is really weird for me, but most of them seemed to be download only, and I, as a rule, don't do that on the stream. So we're like 4 or so maybe that were online web builds, and it just didn't quite work out. Yeah. Something Canada population and unemployment spikes. Oh, I see. That sounds like a whole side of politics I'm unaware of. Early stream, yes, Zap. We're doing an early stream today. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I am trying to do early streams because just how it's working with the schedule, with getting the daughter to preschool and making sure that my wife has opportunities that she needs to get projects done. She's preparing for a very big conference coming up soon, which could have some really good connection opportunities for her. So she's got a lot of work she needs to do to prepare. We're trying to support that too. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear prodigal. Free hat tower for you. Oh, and a paid hat tower too. We're gonna go to 10. I appreciate early streams. Things get hectic an hour or so from now. Sure, well, I appreciate you being here. Cry if I want to. I am 37, but I feel like a 34-year-old, and I act like an 8-year-old. That's great. Windows. Yeah. I appreciate early streams. Things get hectic, right? Yeah, I like early streams because then I can't go to the stream, sadly. If it's not early, you mean? Yeah. Let me have this for my birthday and don't clear it for at least 1 hour. This is a today stream for me. Good. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blades, thank you for that refund. Virite, thank you so much for that subscription. Deeply appreciate you. Resubbing as well, since I have this to get rid of. Thank you, Virite. That is, we talk about this all the time, but those are the foundational building blocks to making something impossible happen. So thank you. It is that sort of support that is going to allow me to do this more and more and more, to build the audience, to get those sponsors, to bring people on and build those small-scale projects. Speaking of which, we are going to be diving in to our first small-scale project next week. We did a little bit of it Monday night, for those of you that were here trying to get a template set up. I'm still working on that. But that's going to be the goal. We're going to be building our very first small project, and I'm committing to get this done and out on Steam in whatever form we can. Ooh, and it may be really short. It may be a very short game, but that is the goal. Unity canceled the runtime fee. Yes, I have to read the email, but it sounds promising, and I can finally upgrade soon. Yeah, I'm really curious what that means. I need to... Eckhard kind of had an interesting write-up on that in the Discord. I'm curious how this is changing from their old plans, and what have they done to kind of compensate for the changing of that runtime fee. I'm very curious how that's going to all shake out. I need to get someone to break that all down for me. Maybe find a Reddit post or something. All right, so Tenebris, I think, is a little bit different from Darkest Dungeon in that it is not... It's going to have somewhat similar gameplay, but it is not a roguelike. I believe. I believe this is a campaign. So we're going to dive in. USS Fox F0X. Yeah, sure. Cancel the fee. They increase the overall cost for the subscriptions for Pro and Enterprise, but they're still allowing free waiving of Splash, but only with UE6. I do like that they're doing the free wave of the splash screen. Not that that super matters, but sure, whatever. I'm very curious about how that's going to work out with I'm hearing that AAA and big publishers are really suffering right now. And indies are kind of going to be the big thing for the next little while, relatively speaking, right? So it's a good time to be an indie developer, but it sounds like they're banking on the big studios, and a lot of the big studios have been running away from Unity. So I'm curious how that's all going to shake out for them. My potential future boss sent me a message that they're moving forward with me and put me at the top of the pipeline for interviews. Oh, that's so great, Prodigal. Oh, man. Oh, we're so rooting for you. Yay. I haven't seen the EA version yet. Excited to see what's different between this version and the demo. Yeah. Which is good for us. Yes, it is very good for us. This is a good time to be building your game. Like showing Unity, to be honest, it grew up with the game saying made using Blossom. Also seen a large jump of people flooding funding channels for interactive media in Canada. Interesting. I have heard Canada, yeah, has a lot of like government grants and everything to support creators. Canada's really jumping forward on that. Okay, so main menu critique, as we always do. We've got some slight life coming into it with these asteroids moving, a little bit of kind of the planet rotating. Looks like we have a little, very slight movement here with the solar flare. It kind of feels like it's maybe glowing in and out or something. Just all these very subtle effects. We have our far background, mid-ground, and then somewhat foreground. I think we need more foreground here. We need something like way up over here and sliding across or something to bring that sense of foreground. In my opinion, you could argue it's sci-fi, you want a big open expanse, but I still think general rules of layout and composition apply. And we see this a lot too, of here's this big landscape, and I think it's meant to encourage the players to move forward and say like, ooh, look at what I can explore. But to me, it just feels lifeless. I don't know, maybe this is my problem with sci-fi in general. Maybe sci-fi enthusiasts would not feel this way. Currently building a possible Steam release, so that's good. That's incredibly good, CodeCuber. I talk about this advice all the time, but a Tim Kaine video a few months ago where he said the way to get into the gaming industry that people do not like the answer for, and they will argue against it, but this is the right answer. The way you get into the gaming industry is by making a game. That is it. That is how you get into the gaming industry. So if you're a writer, go build a visual novel. There's engines that will make that happen, and you barely need to know how to program. That's why I looked up a Metroidvania template for my next project, and it's like, there, you know? So there are a lot of cool tools. Find something really small scope, build it, get it on Steam, have your name on something, you will get on a separate list of interviews. Because they do, at least that's what Tim Kaine said, who is an industry veteran, very well respected, not a YouTuber. He runs a YouTube channel to help people. And he said, if I have 20 writers that I think could possibly all do this job, if some of them have made a game that I can like observe, they built something, they're going to go to the top of the interview pile. Because that's an extra thing I can judge them off of. The Canadian Media Fund has been around for ages, and a lot of large games have been kickstarted or completely funded by it. Outlast, Dead by Daylight, The Long Dark, Jotun, Outward, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Shepherd's Hound has been in here, and we did an interview with them too about kind of pitching to that and finding all those Canadian grants. Canada is really pushing quite a lot for their game developers. That's true for any industry. Yeah, that's fair. What's my next project? We're going to be continuing my Pirate Software 15 jam idea, which was the alchemy, building your attack stuff. We're going to build that into a tiny Metroidvania. I'm going to try and keep it as tiny as possible. You know, beat it in one sitting type sort of tiny, but we'll see. Even on normal dev work, I'd ignore 100% of any education, only look at what you've done before. Yes, and especially if it is a self-started project, right? Prodigal, shut your mouth, shut your mouth. So we have our typographic logo up here, this kind of cool little fading in tentacle glow type sort of effect, right? It's kind of fun. The thing we tell ourselves, the more that I'm in the indie space, the more I'm convinced that proper scoping is the biggest difficulty in making a game. Anything else in game making, you can look up tutorials, you can figure it out, you can find people to come in and help. You can't do that with scope, right? There's no tutorial on how to scope your game properly, really. Not really, because it's so unique to each project. And that's why we push game jams so hard on this channel, is because it teaches you that skill through really fast iterative experience, instead of what I hear all the time of people spending years on a game and then dropping it, or releasing it and then saying, my next game is going to be 6 months max. I'm never going to make a game more than 6 months. And it's hard. And even things that you think are going to be tiny end up being absolutely massive. So finding ways to bring that scope down, get a tiny scope that is still a fun game, is huge. That's why I'm making games small enough to have done it in 6 months. If all goes well, we shall see. Exactly, yeah. Are you mocking me? Some of the worst implementations I've seen are those with master's degrees. They can design an algorithm, can't program out of a wet paper bag. Master and above education are literal red flags for me. Wow. Interesting. That was a good direct hit to the heart. I've heard it from you. I've heard it from a good half a dozen developers at this point who have released games and said, next time, smaller. And these are also people that said, I want to build something small, you know, that may have come out of game jams and stuff. So it's a skill. You got to learn it. It's why product people exist and strategists are important. It's all difficulty. 6 months. Me too. Sure. Don't want to make a game for more than 6 months because I think I get too demotivated too quickly. Honestly, and there's a lot to that. There's a lot to that, Jack. It's good for me because I feel like when I participate in jams, I do well on scope. Yeah. Yeah. And there's a space for that, right? There's a space for building something for a jam that you think works really well, and then pushing it out on Steam for $1. And even if you don't get very many sales, you know, push it out for sale, push it out for $1, get 10 people to review it, you know, get your friends and your family to buy it and review it, and get into that discovery queue. All of a sudden, you have an incredible portfolio project, right? You have something you can show to studios and say, look, I built this. I got sales, right? Gonna try to aim to make something in 3 months max. Best of luck. Best of luck. Go for broke. Do 30 days. GitHub host this jam. Nice. PS5 build. Wish me luck. All right, good luck. Actually managed to implement buy/sell on all my NPCs for a game change. Nice. Nice, Memphis. One step closer to get to the minimum required for public testing. Very cool. Build a game for that and put it on Steam. Sure, yeah. Struggle with coming up with a scope that both doesn't have too much stuff, but also has stuff in it so people want to play. I'm right there with you, Jack. I'm right there with you because, you know, as a writer, you can make a short, like, 2-hour experience. I think as a game designer, I struggle because I want to look at my systems knowledge, right? Look at all these cool systems that interact with each other, but systems take a lot of work. So there's honestly a part of me that thinks there's something to making a really short horror game, and then you have one unique system in it, and everything else is bog standard, but not doing like a roguelike that has to have all of these interconnected, interesting things with a lot of complexity, right? Do something simple with one unique system about it. I mean, my very first $2 from a game that someone randomly donated on AB. Zaf, that's awesome. That's great. I love that someone donated for that. Back to our analysis here. It's weird that we're getting this fade in, fade out. I'm assuming that this is a movie and like they need to reset the position of these asteroids and stuff. It's a little awkward. But honestly, I think they could have just reversed it and nobody would have noticed. 2-hour experience could take a 6-month building time. I mean, it definitely could. 2 hours can take a team of 300 plus people 4 years to build, right? It totally just depends on what that 2-hour experience is, right? A 2-hour experience is a movie, right? You could say Lord of the Rings, right? 6 months for 2 hours is very reasonable, depending on skill set, scope, what you're trying to accomplish, right? All those things. The button style is very good. I like that we have continue on the far left. That's kind of the thing you're going to assume is going to be there. I don't like that it's disabled and you can still hover over it and get that effect. I wish that wasn't there. Lord of the Rings is 4 hours. Well, you know, not the original theatrical release. It does look like there is a difference. So on the enabled buttons, we have the text zooming in, whereas it doesn't zoom in on the disabled, which is weird. That seems to tell me that there's more of a technical thing they didn't want to have to deal with, of disabling this button zoom in, but not getting the text to zoom in, rather than a deliberate design decision. I could be wrong, though. Had to mute for a bit to edit. Hope I didn't miss too much. Honestly, Quantic, we've been getting distracted with strategy for indie devs. You haven't really missed anything. I think Meltdown has 2 players that literally spent more time playing than I spent developing. Yeah, I believe that. So, buttons are a little bit weird, but they work. This whole layout, honestly, I'm not totally sold on. Having the logo up here and then the buttons down here, we talk about that, how you have kind of, your eye is going to get drawn to here and then kind of come across and down. It's just a long space for your eye to travel without a whole lot of, like, reward. This is all empty space. This is empty space. I'm not getting cool stuff drawing me into their world. These buttons look like StarCraft. I could see that. I mean, it's sci-fi, you know. Ameripon! Good to see you, friend. How are you? You're a space hater, though? I kind of am a space hater. This does nothing for me. This does not entice me at all. I know this is kind of stupid, but I would love to flip the background and put the logo in the top left. Honestly, I don't think that's stupid at all. I really don't think that's stupid at all. I think that's probably a good idea. You want your focal point to be in the top left, at least for Western audiences, right? Western audiences, we're accustomed to top left. That's where you start and you go down. That is where you want your big thing. Empty space, not like being in space. Both, I guess. I'm a big fan of white space in design, but space as a setting is hard for me because this is just like, this is pretty colors, I guess, but like, it doesn't entice me. I'm here like, wow, space. Exactly. And so, you know, take everything I say with a grain of salt here. And this is why you need to get it into the hands of your actual target audience. You need to define your target market and actually go for them, right? So I may not be the target market for this, but I don't know if that's going to come through. So if we go into the campaign, right? This text box feels a little bit weird. Why does it feel weird? I think it's just that it feels so flat when everything else is so textured. I think that's the problem. Fox, follow, start. All right. Now, I do like this difficulty thing. I do wish something was, like, I wish Serious Challenge was by default selected. But I do like the art that is communicating this more than anything. The colors turning on and off. We have this popover, which is fine. Decent typography. It's working. The like chance of better quality equipment drop. That's a little bit long, but whatever, you know, it's not the worst thing. The button easing could be a bit faster. I could see that, yeah. The very first thing that happens in this game is that your ship crashes onto this planet. I would love to see a damaged ship plummeting into the atmosphere. Yes! Yes! Quantic. 100%. Absolutely. Oh, you're visiting the States for the month. Nice, Maripon. Terran Protoss Zerg. I mean, that's very Zerg, right? That's very Ultralisk. I have a demo in front of like 50 people today. Ooh, best of luck, Prodigal. Happy birthday, and we're rooting for you to get on that team. Best of luck. Third panel is the Zerg, yeah. All right. Let's dive in here. I don't like how we have OK and back being equal button styles. This should be a primary button style. This should be a secondary button style. And also, I wouldn't mind having this back be in the upper left, right? Once again, if we just kind of take this into Figma real quick, Go into our Figma, and then get Chrome set back up again. Here we go. So we've got our difficulty screen here, right? Gonna go ahead and grab this button, and then just do that. We're gonna bring the button over here. In fact, you know what? We're gonna get rid of that. This is the importance of having a secondary button style, right? You have to have a secondary button style. Let's bring up the font size, and then we're gonna go to some monospaced font. Sure, and then all caps, because that seems to be the style that they're doing for their UI, right? Having some sort of secondary button style is so crucial. All of a sudden, we have much more direction and flow about where we want the player to go, right? We could add back in that left caret. I don't know that that's really being represented here, but secondary button styles, guys. Secondary button styles. It is such a big deal. Hydralisk. Thank you. Thank you. A Hydralisk, not an Ultralisk. All right. Let's go. Ooh, I like that fade in. That was nice. I like how fast everything's coming in. A lot of the times when stuff like this happens, the cinematic designer feels like, oh, we want to read every single letter. Like, especially if it's just stuff that's not going to matter a lot. No, we don't want to read every letter. Get it in fast. Get it in quickly. I really appreciate that. So we're getting the basic idea here. We're in an emergency situation. Breach. We're getting this color contrast that is drawing us in. It's weird that mission status is so far over. My guess is they did that to have it in the middle of the screen so it's more easily seen. Then we have breach, shutdown, overload, 70% critical. None of these things are good. Prepare life support in operational compartments. Let's go. End summary. Any key to skip. I mean, that isn't really skip. That was just any key to continue. Love what you're doing with the back button. How do you feel about changing the OK button to begin or... Yes, absolutely. Because I like the symmetry of having it centered, but I think having it in the bottom right makes the most sense. Let's explore that for a second. If we take this down here. In fact, let's take our standard thing, and then we'll bring this down. First off, yes, we definitely don't want OK. OK is bad button language, right? You never want OK for your buttons. This is a basic usability thing. OK tells the player nothing, right? It tells your user nothing. So it's like, hey, you have an error. Okay, that doesn't... Right, that's not helpful. So you could expand this button out, right? And I have to do this kind of jankily because I don't have access to the actual design assets or anything, but just kind of do this, and then we'll type in continue. You could do... Let me crank this up. There's continue, there's play, there's voyage, there's resist, right? You can do anything. You can do any sort of play on that, but definitely do not have OK. OK is very unhelpful. So what happens if we get rid of that and we replace it in the middle? I do think it should be bigger. My concern with it being in the middle when you said that was, is this going to tie to any specific difficulty selection? And they put it smack dab in the middle, and they designed this so that it's not 100% lining up with any of these specifically, which is good. This is what I worry about with this design, is this button might feel like it is tied to Operations Planning Center when it's not. It's just the move forward button. So I think having it in the middle is fine. We have the middle header. In general, when you have text, you want to keep everything left, middle, or centered aligned. If you're doing one, keep it consistent within that section. So, keeping it center aligned I think works, but I 100% agree with getting rid of OK, and I 100% agree with enlarging the button a little bit. Is this built by a team? Yes, it is. Let me link to the Steam page here. This is by Phantasmica Studios. Okay is pretty much always wrong. Yes, absolutely. Unless the question is, are you okay? and even then, you would probably want to say, like, I am okay, right? Because okay can feel like an acknowledgement. It can feel like anything, right? Watch the Minecraft movie trailer? No, I haven't. Small team of 4 and only 1 developer on said team. Wow. Okay, very cool. What are your thoughts on the actual thing you select changing to start in XYZ difficulty once you select it? Or the start button appearing more locally to the actual thing you just selected? You could. I know we're going into ads in just a minute. Viride, no worries. So what I'm hearing you say is doing something like do start serious challenge, right? First off, if you're going that route, you 100% need to make sure that the text is succinct, right? Because otherwise you get like this big thing, and then the button starts changing sizes every single time you select something new. Like you go from serious challenge to easy walk to operations planning center to horror movie, right? That's very awkward. Or you have to make the button just a giant size to start with. Actual cell you just click to select changes and the button appears on top of it. Because so the start button appears directly underneath the difficulty selection only when you select it. That might work. Right. That was going to be the next thing that I was going to say. Is this what you mean? We can slide this over. We'll put a little box here. Okay, and then that. You could do that, and then it jumps over with each one. So if you select horror movie, it jumps over here. Easy walk, right? You could. I don't know that that gains you anything because the signifier of what is selected is so strong, right? The fact that it's all grayed out and then colored, I think that's a strong enough signifier that maybe that would be an improvement, but it would be like such a tiny amount of improvement, I wouldn't really worry about it, right? If everything was in color and the selection was maybe like a thin border going around the selection, then I would say, yeah, let's maybe bring that over, and that would create a stronger signifier that that is the thing you have selected. But otherwise, I'm not too concerned about that, right? Unless you're in testing sessions and people are clicking on things and they just don't know what it is that they're trying to select, in which case, sure, let's increase that signifier. But my guess is they'd probably be okay. I feel a bit of a dissonance with these select and confirm screens. What do you mean a dissonance? As in you don't know what you have selected or not? Do not watch the trailer. Will save the regret of an entire lifetime. And honestly, I have no real connection to Minecraft. I played it when it first came out, when it was in beta. And, you know, you all know my feelings on survival crafting games. I played it for like a couple hours. I thought, wow, this is really cool and interesting. It's doing a lot of interesting new stuff for games. I'm done with it. You know, and I haven't ever played it again. Making me choose something and proceed, it feels more like a form in some sign-up process instead of a game screen. I'm curious what you mean by that, Zaft. That you want it to feel more kind of integrated into the world and feel more like diegetic? Is that kind of what you're expressing? Or, all right, 5 capsules are out of order. Good news is that the others are stable. How are you, Lieutenant? Dizzy? Nauseous? It'll pass soon. Head straight to Colonel Grom. Grom! He's awaiting you in the command center. Nice little entry point cutscene. We've got bubbles coming up, slight twitching and movement of the bodies. We've got nice lights beaming in and out. The character has the most movement, which is where it should be, because that's where we want to draw the eye. Decent text bubbles here. I like this kind of blue flourish to make it feel sci-fi. You know, imagine this without that, and it would be way less. And then we just got a nice simple blue gradient background, simple white border. I mean, it's fine. It's nothing incredible, but it's serviceable. It's communicating what needs to be communicated. If there wasn't the risk of player making a mistake, my ideal solution would be you click on the difficulty and that's that. It continues with it. I can see that, but I agree with you that we need to build in forgiveness, right? Is this a principle in our Universal Principles of Design book? Forgiveness? No. Okay, so forgiveness is a real UX principle that we need to design for. Let me throw this in chat. Incredibro, good to see you. How you doing? So forgiveness is the idea that people are going to make mistakes. So how do we minimize the impact of those mistakes and make it not a terrible experience, right? And that sort of making them confirm is a way to have that forgiveness, especially with something like difficulty. If you can't change that later on, you want to make sure that they are 100% selecting the thing they mean to be selecting. Even if it's a very tiny, tiny portion of the game, it will have long carry-on impacts for the rest of the game. And then if they select the wrong difficulty and they didn't know that clicking on it was going to do it, now they have to go through the intro cutscene, like skip through it all real quick, quit out, start a new game, and then go through it. That's a big setback for the player, right? So you definitely want an extra layer of forgiveness in there. You need it to be incredibly clear what it is that they're clicking with no chance for errors. I think they save the old chat bubbles like a messaging chat. That's an interesting point. Yeah. Incredible, thank you for the hydrate. Nice, Blades. Congrats. Ooh, not a big fan of this. Proceed to the command center. Affirmative. Once again, weird, like, button text. I don't know why we have... I guess this is maybe giving us a new objective. But I think this could just be a end dialogue or end conversation button. You hit that, and then we get... Oh, see, it wasn't even really an objective. We just skipped straight there. So I did not like that at all. That felt very out of place. It kind of took me out of things. It's a little bit of forgiveness as well, but I don't know. I guess we'll see how it continues through the game. Maybe that's a pattern they established and had to use that here. I don't know. British spelling of center. Sensors are still down. Grom! Send out a repair crew with backup immediately. Congratulations on your awakening, Lieutenant. And this is where the art style is being a little bit awkward because she was talking to Grom and then turns to us and talks. But we don't get that, like, change. And you have to convey that through the text. The text didn't really do that, so it's just a bit of an awkward break. Once again, not a huge deal. It's just a little micro moment. But if we're looking at polishing things up, that is another area to look at. What is this? Not game dev. So disappointed. Sybil, good to see you. We're doing analysis on Tenebris Terra Incognita. We've got a bunch of games we need to do analysis for. People have been sending me keys. And we've been going through, kind of looking at how do we design better screens and play with different layout options to communicate things to the player and everything. It's a great time. We enjoy these analysis streams. Proceed should be the button. Could be. Could be. That's an option. British spell. Nice character design. Very cool. Okay, how are you doing, Symbol? How's Bracky's going? Bracky's is still going on, right? Okay, and then also we have a little visual tangent here with this corner matching up exactly with the portrait. You'd like to give that a little bit of space. And now it's gone, right? So it's just that first one happened to be there, and that's a big thing whenever you have text. You have to account for different text sizes, especially dealing with translations. You know, if you bring this into German, how tall are these windows going to get, right? You have to account for that. If you are doing it on consoles or Steam Deck, you're probably going to want the text size to be larger, so you got to account for that as well. And then consoles in German, oh my gosh, okay? Welcome back, Virite. Fingers crossed. Ooh, rooting for you. Nice, Incredible. That's awesome. I'm okay. Brackies is going on. Life has decided to take some time, so I won't have the scope I wanted. But the game will be funny. So that's the point. Well, there you go. There you go. That's a big deal. That's the great thing about Game Jams is they help us practice that scoping and get accustomed to killing our babies, all that sort of stuff. So I'm glad to hear it's going okay. We have an emergency. We've crashed in an unknown sector of space. They also have these, like, blue words that sometimes don't necessarily make sense to me. Like on the previous screen, when it said head to the command center, like head was blue and nothing else was. Like, if I'm just skimming, which I think is the purpose of those blues, I don't know what head is going to really tell me, but whatever. Son, we miraculously managed to land the ship without burning up in the atmosphere. Right now, some creatures are swarming through a hole in the bottom of the ship. These art styles seem off, too. Maybe it's just an attempt to kind of glam up the gal over here. But this guy looks like different color palette, different level of detail that's being rendered out. They don't feel like they fit very well for me. Your head crashed into the swarming creatures. Take command of your squad and clear the lower sections. I'll be waiting for the report on your return. Good luck, Lieutenant. I'm glad she had time to, like, you know, get those cattail eyeshadow on and everything. You know, good for her. Captain Grom here, a little more effort. That hair, kind of messy. Seems like he jumped straight out of bed. Second in command showing him up. I'm just saying, you know, make your bed in the morning. Grom. I feel like the characters are like white Nick Fury and Black Widow. Well, Nick Fury is white. Black Nick Fury came in with the Ultimate Universe. There was a big, like, potential legal kerfuffle with Samuel Jackson when he started reading the Ultimate comics. Said, hey, I don't think I gave you permission to use my likeness. And then they said, yeah, listen about that. We have some movies coming up. What do you think about playing the character? All right, protect the ship. So now we have 3 different colors. Yeah, this is just not working for me. Why is it not working for me? I think this just feels so out of place, and it's commanding so much attention, pulling it away from the conversation. And I get that's like the next step we're supposed to be going into, but maybe it's just the colors. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I need to play more. I need to play more and see kind of what their intention is here. The box apparently is, this action is too big to fit in a button. Deadpool's comics literally describing him looking like Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. The animation on the woman is so bad when she moves her arm, her whole upper body twitches and turns. And see, I didn't even pay attention to all that. Okay, so we have a splash screen tutorial here of, here's a bunch of stuff. So, see, we have, like, this was a mission objective window before, now it's a tutorial window. I get that everything is about scope, right? And having secondary button styles and secondary tooltip styles. That's all time you have to take out of working on other things in order to build, right? So none of this is saying this is bad or anyone could have done this better. We recognize the constraints we all work with as developers, but once again, if we're looking at other things to polish or things we can learn from so that when we are building things, we can just automatically, instinctively do it, this would be a good opportunity for that. Not have it share the same style as those objectives. It dilutes both things when that happens. Mixed with the Sharpay. Use the DNA buttons to move around. Click on this window. Am I going to close just this window? Yes, I am. Okay, nice little screen flickering there. I like that transition. I was nervous that if I clicked somewhere, it was going to move everything. Click on this window to close. Yeah. There could be a better tutorial. We can dole this out more piecemeal over time. Once again, tutorials tend to be one of the last things developers build, but it would be nice to spread this out a bit. So you only have one window open at a time. You don't have that micro moment of, oh, can I delete it? Can I get rid of the window? You can always change the formation outside of combat. See, like, I don't even know that there is a formation yet. And then saying you can always change the formation outside of combat is like, you're skipping 3 levels beyond my understanding of the game right now. This needs to come in later. Ooh, and that text, I like that we have little barks coming up. We need to address that. There needs to be a better way to display that. We'll deal with that in a second. Drag the soldier icon to the desired slot. And I don't know what the desired slot is. I don't know why I want one over the other. Like, that has to come up later. Quick access buttons, global map, inventory, bestiary, and game menu. So I'm getting 4 line items here, but there's only 3 icons. Why? Other than that, I like the stylistic UI design. This is almost feeling kind of like those old Flash RPGs, like the old fantasy RPGs, not quite RuneScape, but something similar, like where they have the paper dolls and they move around. So it's a little bit nostalgic in a sort of a way. But here we go. That text right there. That's what I wanted to grab. We're going to go over to Figma. This is illegible for me, pretty much. See how light that contrast is right there? That just doesn't work. There's like a couple of pixels between each window. What do you mean spread it out? No. I mean spread it out not distance-wise, but chronologically, right? So only show one of those windows at a time. They could just have kept the affirmative button and it would be fine here too. Yeah, I think that's another fair point, Zaf. Just joking with you. Okay, got it. So these barks, these are cool. We want this. We talk about how easy it is to bring life into the world by having these little text pop-ups. It's a really good way for indie games to breathe life into their world. We need more about this, though. So I am going to try something just super simple. I'm going to grab, like, their color here. We're going to make this a radial gradient. We're going to change this to be 0% and kind of shift it out a little bit. And we're going to change it to be like 30% maybe, and then 10%. There we go. And this isn't even with the text on top of it, and it's already starting to feel a little bit better, right? So let me bring this in. We're going to change this to something that's a little bit closer to what they are typing out. Oh, we don't have italic on this one, huh? That's a bummer, because that's really close to what they've got. Sure, classic Montserrat. Then we'll do light italic, which is kind of what they are doing here. Shrink that text down a bit. And then we're going to get rid of the formatting. There we go. And then make it about that size. And then we can increase the text size. And so we get 2. There we go. All right. So let me go back to the game, grab a screenshot without the text on it, and then we can bring this over and we can see, which of these is going to be a little more legible. Doot. There we go. All right. Between these two, one of these is easier to read. Let me even move it up halfway. Even with it being on top of this, changing background that you can't account for. But that helps a lot, right? And it brings a little bit of the, it kind of makes it feel a bit more like a calm, in my, opinion. We could bring that opacity up a little bit. And it would be cool. Always be wary of it would be cool, but it would be cool if we had like a dashed line sort of shader on that, like a CRT screen or something. And yes, you're right, that we could throw on a stroke here, right? I don't know how much I'm loving that. Let me copy this over. And then bring it back. Between these two, it feels a little bit odd. Let me remove that rectangle. It kind of works. I don't feel that it's quite going in the right direction. I think it's too high contrast, right? This text is so thin that the stroke is almost overpowering the text, and it's creating too many points of high contrast in my mind. And what if we change the text, though, to be, instead of white, we change it to one of their other colors here? What are their other, like, UI colors that we can play around with? That's what I think they have for their default text, is this sort of disabled color. We can even bring it to that really bright blue in the background, right? So it's not quite pure white. It doesn't feel quite so stifling and outside. Anyways, just ways to explore to bring this text forward a little bit, because this is not working for me. I don't think I'm going to be able to really read that very well. I think I understand why they don't have a box behind it. There are things in the background that you need to watch out for that you can click to get stuff. Interesting. But if they're going to put the text in front of it anyways, you know, add like a black stroke, okay, doesn't have to be a box, just outline, dark would solve it. You'd have to change the text formatting, right? So if we explored that idea, I think we would need to change it from italic to like thin italic to bold italic or something, right? And then bring it down. And then, you know, once again, I feel like it starts to just look a little bit off. You could try, whoops, instead of a full-on stroke, we could try a shadow. Ooh, don't mean to remove the fill, remove the stroke. We could try a shadow, and that would kind of pop it out a little bit. Really pump that blur up, but then it kind of starts to bring the opacity up. Whoa, Figma, where are we going? But this is another instance where if an immediate solution is not happening, you can look at what are other games that do this sort of a thing, and how do they communicate it, right? So that's feeling a little bit better. We could play with an italic or light italic now that we have that drop shadow. It feels a little bit better. A little bit better. Can maybe amp up the... Yeah. No, don't like that shadow being up. It brings it too far forward, right? You do want it to be in the background, but you also need it to be legible. I'm curious, how does this version stack up against this version? Oh yeah, that's way more legible. Way more legible. Even if we do use the same color, I bet it's going to be a lot more legible. Let's grab that. To find an actual good representation of the color. Yeah, it's not... I can't quite match up that color, but, you know. Somewhere around here-ish. That does help. I do think it needs to be a lot more legible, though. Okay. I like using 4-pixel outline with black color on all my text to make them not mix with the background. It totally depends on your style, right? Who made this game? This was made by Phantasmica Studios. This is their first game. There you go. Incredible, bro. All right. You have a stand-up tomorrow. Best of luck. Stick together. So they do have that, like, zooming in. That felt slow, too. The easing could be a lot faster and be more subtle, too. As you travel around the world, you will encounter interactive objects with valuable contents. Keep your eyes peeled. Can I interact with this? I want a new drone. So, what are the rules for what I can interact with? I can't go back, it seems. Aha! Okay, I could click on that? That was an interactable object? So this is click on every single pixel, the game now. I do like this wall is 3D. That's nice. But I am now just going to click on everything all the time. Holy crap. Okay, so I like that they're kind of... They did a flash there. I hope we get to see that more. I didn't seem to notice that in the first room. Battle! Oh, spooky little bug. They kind of sparkle. Okay, all right. Very darkest dungeon. Let's see. So we've got quick shot. Let's look at our typography here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different colors on your basic ability. That might be too many colors. We have our title. We have active skill. I do like that they have the icon, though, in next to the title. That is good. They might have not done that, and I think that would have been harder to... there's a principle called wayfinding, which are signposts that are along the way that tell you where you are and where you're trying to go. And if you just hover over this, and then you see quick shot without that picture, you might take a while to kind of patch together and learn to trust the system that, yes, this is the thing that you're looking at. By putting that little icon there, it creates that solid mental connection. You know what it is you're hovering over. That's very good. Active skill, I'm assuming, is a color, and then like a passive skill will probably be a different color. I think that's good. 5 shots dealing, and then 10 to 13. We've got the damage numbers in that dark red. That is pretty low contrast. I would want to pump that up. Maybe make it the... Is it the same color as health? Let me bring this into Figma. We're doing a whole bunch of UI here today. Let's bring this in. I'm curious if this is the same color. Or close enough. Let me try and get like a particularly bright pixel. So they're not exactly the same color, but my guess is the intention is that it's the same color. And I like that. But if we grab a square here and throw that in, and then we do color contrast. Fail. Fail, fail. This is illegible. You cannot read this. Even with large text, this is not going to work. So we need to make this brighter somehow. We need to improve the color contrast on it. Let's take it to, let's see, it's kind of a light style. We're going to bring this down, and we will set it to be the color of the thing here. Let me mask this out. There we go. Bring this in. All right. So the light is being a problem, right? The thing is, I was going to say, maybe we can, like, bold it or something, and that definitely helps. But it's still not, like, WCAG compliant. It's not going to be good for people who have vision problems, which is a lot more than you might expect. So we need to find a way to deal with that. Feels like they take the medieval and magic turn-based game style with futuristic weapons like guns. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah. Now, this is tricky, because we do want the same colors here, right? We want the colors to line up. So if we can't change the color of the text, what are some other options? We could do that same trick we did before of adding something behind it, like a gradient, to try and bring it out a little bit. That's one option. It's not my favorite option in this instance. There we go. Like, that's, you know, pretty gross. Color contrast still not very good on that. Let's bring this down. Once again, we can explore the trick of adding a stroke. So we can add a white stroke to it, or, you know, nearly white. We could explore with using maybe this bright color. Ugh, that's pretty high contrast. Yucky. You know, you could try something like that. It's still not feeling great. Instead of maybe doing pure white, we could make it a softer red. That's getting closer. All right, take care, Incredibro. Jack, yeah, lighter red. You know, it kind of works. Kind of works. You could... instead of that, we could try once again our shadow and change the shadow to be a different color, right? You could even like really blur it up. Ugh, don't like that shadow color at all. Let's grab our red here, and then we will lighten it. maybe take that blur back down. You know, and this is also where it might be good to have a discussion with the art director and say, how important is it that this background is dark blue? You know, we're really struggling to get the health in. Is it more important to have the health be that color or to have this be the color for the background? And if it needs to be both, then you need to find a new health color or some way to package this up, right? You could try encasing this inside of just a straight up color, right? And this is how we represent damage everywhere. That we have a colored rectangle that is I want to do pure white, but you could, and then you can make it more cool looking, right? So you can kind of do your whole thing that you've been doing elsewhere to make this more kind of dynamic, right? You can do stuff. You can find other workarounds, but you've got to get that text looking more accessible. That's super ugly. Don't do that. Initiative is another color because it requires a specific stat, I guess, which damage also does, but it's just health. Yeah, and I think initiative does pass color contrast, at least. Let me check that out. Do one right here, and we'll grab this yellow. Maybe not, but I would bet. At least for large text. Yeah, it works. It's just fine. So it's at least legible, so that's good. The graphic designer in me is screaming at this UI. On a baser level, you should not be trying to make the text more legible with tricks. Blue is a very bad color to have as a background. You want something on the grayscale and closer to the ends. And I think that's a very fair point, Symbol, right? And that's why I was saying you should really have a conversation with your art director to say, what can we do? And then as well, the background color isn't consistent between things, right? So the background color on here is this really dark blue, but on here it's a lighter blue. So it's a little bit weird. We have, and then here we have this toolbar slot, which I like that we have hotkeys, but it's also like butting up right up against the numbers, which is brutal. All right, we're in ads. I'm going to take a quick break. Be right back. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Right in time for the ads to break. So if we took your thoughts here, Symbol. I'm going to grab a screenshot without the tooltip on so we can kind of experiment with some stuff real quick. Yeah, anyone who's worked in enterprise software for some amount of time understands blue is very tricky. It's very hard to make look visually interesting. It's very hard to make feel dynamic, but also color contrast does usually become a problem. So if we grab that same blue, but then we slide it over, right? So it's a cool blue instead. How will that work for us? And then we can add our stroke. We can have the stroke be our, you know, dealio. We can get our rounded corners. We can do... Figma. What are we doing? Go. There we go. Okay. I'm going to try and recreate this more or less the same. In fact, why am I trying to do that? Let me just screenshot this. There we go. Bring this in. Oops. Okay. Same opacity. Gonna give it equal spacing, top, bottom, left, and right as well, because we're not animals. Quick shot. Grab the yellow. Change this to be regular, and then, yeah. Sure, let's do that. It's not the same, but once again, it's hard to really approximate things quickly without the actual assets. I could spend a lot more time and find something, but whatever. All right, that's kind of close. Grab a line across. There we go. Okay. And then we have, let's grab this and bring it over. Just test it. See, that looks so much better. That looks so much better. If we take this, we do our color contrast. It's still a fail. It still needs to get pumped more. And bring it over even more. Is that going to fix the contrast? No, it's so you can see, like, we really need to push things a lot higher. In fact, we may even need to, like, up the damage color in order to make this accessible. Still not looking good. Just red on black is always really tough. You know, we may need to, like, pump it up to there. Sheesh. We're getting closer. We're getting a lot closer. What if we do this? I'm just kind of curious what that's going to do to the score. Okay, so we actually get large text there. So we go like that. And then maybe desaturate this a little bit. There we go. Now we're in passing. So that's kind of what we'd be looking at for something that's going to pass muster. And it's not the same, right? It's not the same that we had before. Is it awful? No. It's just, this is a much larger discussion than doing one thing. So that's why I was saying you could do these tricks to try and get something working without having to retool everything. But when you're working on your color palettes, always make sure that you're keeping accessibility in mind. Accessibility is not only for people who can't see very well or have vision problems, it's for all of us, right? By making that design more accessible, all of a sudden the tooltip is going to be a whole lot more legible for everyone. All right. Let's go ahead and actually play the game here. So this is reduces target's initiative. Okay, so we've got a JRPG time battle system here. Apply bleeding and reduce initiative. Okay. 10 to 13 damage, 11 to 17. Area of effect closest target, or one target. Okay. And then all enemies. Okay. Let's stab him. So we got through armor, I guess, is what that was. That feels like that could be communicated a little bit better as armor. See characteristics of the combatants. Hover over their icon in the queue. We need more spacing here. I like that they have that bar between the name and the rest of it. But this is all very hard to read. I think iconography would help a lot. You could bring that health and armor iconography down into the player spaces as well, so that you would automatically know, oh, that's armor. Yeah, there's a lot that can be done here. The panel on the top shows the turn order during combat. The position in the queue is determined by the character's initiative. Sure. Okay. 3 shots. We can give ourselves tech nanobots. And give the enemy acid. Oh, there we go. I can hover over things. It takes a little bit, but I can still hover over things. That's good. I was really nervous about that. Hers 2 armor for every counter. Counter seems like maybe a rough word. Maybe say stack instead. Applies droning on effect. These abilities are quite complex. Each ability seems to do quite a lot. Each counter increases the chance to apply positive effects from skills. The chance to apply positive effects from skills. And it scales up. Interesting. Huh. And then we have some language problems here. You can see at the bottom of Tech Nanobots, it says, effect loses 1 counter at the end of the turn. And if we go to droning, each turn gains 1 counter. So we need to standardize that language. So it's, each turn lose 1 counter at the end of the turn. You don't need effect, right? Or bring effect into here. Effect gains 1 counter each turn. And if you're going to specify at the end of the turn on some abilities, specify at the start of the turn on others. Consistent, make that a universal language so that the player can really depend on it. Okay, evolves into paralysis when accumulates 9 counters. That's kind of cool. And then we have Tech Shooter, 3 shots dealing 135% damage with SMG. Each shot has 35%. And honestly, I would swap. We have a problem here on the tooltips. Let me go back to Figma. We're never gonna actually play this game. We bring this up. We have a problem here where the damage number I really care about is illegible, and the damage number that's relativistic is way more visible. That needs to be swapped. The raw damage number that I need to actually be doing the math on dudes with, that needs to be super visible, and this needs to be the, for reference number. Okay. 35% chance to apply Panacea effect to a random ally. All right, well, let's just go in blasting. There is quite a lot to this. One other thing I'm totally not clear on is at what point does the initiative break? Like, if I do this, reduce initiative by 5%, is that going to make him go after my support guy or not? That's something I need to see. I need to see some sort of impact in the turn order up above, right? And I need to see numbers. I need to see numbers, not by 5%. Is that 5% total or 5% of what they have? I want to see the actual numbers. And then up here, I'm realizing level 1, that can be combined with Scout, right? You can say Scout 1 or even Scout level 1. But we don't need a full entry for that, especially when health, armor, and initiative are relating directly to these 3 bars. So I would have Stenokara, Scout 1, and then the line underneath it, and then health, armor, initiative to really communicate that relationship between health, armor, initiative in the tooltip and health, armor, initiative on our little preview here. Let's go stab him. I want to redeem for removing a single hat. Maybe. We could maybe do that. Lieutenant, thank goodness I caught up with you. You can count on me. Awkward writing there. Also, we didn't get any sort of the other indicators that we've had in the game so far to communicate, like, click on this to move forward. So now, aha! That was not shiny. I hovered over it and it changed colors, but it didn't do anything until I hovered over it. Same thing with that corpse. Shoot first, think later. What a great action hero we are. Yeah, this is... okay, so we get some foreground elements here with the cables. That's good. I like that. Our squad is getting stronger. All right, what do we think we can click on here? I'm betting we can click on the keyboard, maybe this vent thing, possibly the door. I'm not seeing any sparkles. Ah, I see a sparkle up here. See, I didn't even think that I could click on that, but I do see sparkles here. So we get that. Did we click on the door? No, nothing on the door. And then over here. Can't click on any of this. Okay. I'm trying to confirm in my head what is happening with these clicking rules. What can I and can I not click on? So we can click on this. Is it going to sparkle? Yes, but only very rarely. Okay. All right, we got 2 dudes. All right, we're going to grenade, which is gonna apply gonna apply combat. That is hard to actually mouse over. 3 damage to the health so it's a burn. Evolves into burn when it accumulates 9 counters. Cool. Grenades. Boom. And then we can 10 to 15 damage with 3 shots, or 8-11 to 3 shots. Seems like Tech Shooter is just better than Short Burst. Oh, but it can apply Tech Nanobots. So we're potentially applying different buffs to people. Okay, that's actually really cool. I really like that idea. I like that it's based on per shot. That varies it up quite a lot. We get a lot of proc chances. That gives us a lot of opportunities to build our character in interesting ways. I like that you kind of just mentally shortcut in your character. Oh, these both are damage abilities, but one of them is going to do this buff, and one of them is going to do this buff. So what buff do we want? But then you don't feel like your character is just a buff stick. It is also doing damage, and that feels good. Mothman, you got it. Thank you. Woo! All right. Yeah, maybe we do build in a remove a single hat. I don't know. 3 shots. Okay, so Tech Nanobots repairs 2 armor for every counter at the end of the turn. Or remove a harmful effect. We'll go ahead and try and get Tech Nanobots up and running. That sounds more helpful. I don't know if anyone actually got that. And why is your armor so damaged? Is it just because it's so low that the bar starts low? Or are you damaged somehow? Because they haven't gotten a turn. Why are you starting off bleeding? It's weird. Damage with Pneumaton. Why didn't anything else tell us what weapon they're using? There's a lot of work to be done with standardizing language, for sure. Cooldown none. Let's give myself Panacea so you're not bleeding anymore. I'm broken. Can't see you struggling with that. Thank you. Oh, man. Once again, that cooldown number is so low contrast. We got to pump that up a lot. Give this a darker black background to pull this 4 up. We gotta get the text more legible. That is a theme over and over and over again. Color contrast, color contrast, color contrast. By the way, like 1 in 5 people have vision disabilities. You may not know that. It's incredibly common. What is this? Ambush? Gives you temporary bonus to accuracy, dodge, and crit damage. Okay. Increases speed by 10%. All right. Applies the Banana Bots effect. Bio-nanobots. 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 Boy, that's rough to say. 3 health for every counter at the end. So it's a health regen. Let's get some damage. And then how much is this going to do? 5 to 11. Yeah, let's just get damage off the board. Let's just kill him. So he's going to take 3 damage at the start of his turn? 3 damage to health for every counter at the end of the turn. Oh, wow. And then this is 3 health damage for every counter. Wow, so they're both multiples of 3. That's nuts. Let's go ahead and start blasting here. Pyro Shift makes everyone do a colorblind test when they join the team. Oh, interesting. And that's a good point because, like, a lot of the times you can be colorblind and not know it. You may have lived your whole life without, you know, ever knowing that you had a vision disability. Ouch, you are taking a lot of damage. So do we heal up to full is a big question that I have. Are these guys going to sparkle? I'm not seeing any sparkles. Universal language to communicate with the player. Either give me sparkles or don't give me sparkles. Tell me this is a game about investigating things. Want to join our team? Can I loot this? We are strangers to this world. We're not in a world yet. What are you talking about? Either tell me that there are sparkles I can click on and use them universally, or don't use them at all and just make it a game about finding things. Either way is fine. Don't do it halfway. Figured our level designer is colorblind once the asset colors looked like poop colors. Shoot. Yeah. I mean, it's a real thing. Ooh, we got some new equipment. So let's go to our damage dealer here. Miles is a class? What does Miles mean? So let's give you this weapon. It's got a wider range, but higher front end. It gives you a bonus to perception, which I'm guessing is accuracy. So we're affecting stats I don't really see here. Biomaterials, honor, social rating. Okay, we get skill trees, and I'm assuming these are like class evolutions. I'm really liking all this. Also, bestiary is up here, not down here. Fix the tutorial. Lots of icons. Boy. Oh, what? I thought this was just like a little embellishment on the UI. This needs to be an arrow or have text on it that says stats or something. That needs to be a lot more apparent. Especially, like, I'm equipping weapons that are affecting perception. What the crap does perception do? I need to know that. Reduces the chance to be ambushed. The higher the perception, the less chance the squad will get ambushed. Okay, cool. So, overall, I'm really enjoying the pieces of this game. Like, quite a lot. I can see that there's a really cool game in here. What I'm struggling with is how it is communicating the game to the player. Got some info about that from a commenter. Miles is a Latin word, apparently. It's pronounced miles. I mean, that makes sense. We have, like, technicus. We have medicus, right? We're expecting something like that. But I would personally choose another word for this. Because I don't think... Like, technicus, you kind of have a rough idea of what that's going to be. Maybe a utility type sort of class about technology. We'll kind of explore that. It gives you something to base off of. Medicus, okay, sure. Miles is a name in a lot of Western cultures. For me, it was confusing. Is this my name? Is this my name? And I had to go bounce between the other characters to figure it out. There could probably be a better base Latin word to communicate that, right? Especially since this is the first character. If this were like a character you unlocked later on, okay, maybe not as big a deal. But this is the first, like, main title character of the game, right? This is your front line. This is the thing that you are going to think of first. I really feel like that needs to have a more clear communication to the player. As well, these things, there's way too much padding in between things and not enough padding on the sides. We need to shrink in or increase the padding left and right. Padding just all over the place. We need more padding here to give these icons a little more breathing room, especially top and bottom. And this bleeding looks like it's off from everything else. Is that because it has a number in it and the others don't? In which case, that's a problem to solve. There's lots of little UI things that could be done to tighten this up. And all of these little things, when you combine them together, are going to add up to making it feel like a really polished AAA experience. I thought the same thing. I figured since someone commented on it. All right. Yeah, I figured you probably had a similar, like, wait, what is that? Are you going to sparkle? That dude is not sparkling. He's, like, pulled out from the background with highlighting, but he does not sparkle. Got some more equipment. Okay. Increase armor, fear resistance, crit damage. Are we going to get a visual representation? No, that's a big bummer. That's a bummer. We got a new sword. Okay. Equipment is my best friend. Feels a little callous when your friend is dead over there. And why are these bodies not disappearing when you click on them? Just a lot of consistency things that could be done to improve the Seeker. Find 10 curiosities. Was it the achievement we just got there? We got a new weapon. Additional tech nanobots. Yes. So increase the stacking on your stuff. That sounds great to me. We're finding a lot of equipment we can't actually use. Oh, new enemy type. Okay, what do you do? Lampirus. Let's throw out a grenade. Oh, but it loses a counter at the end of the turn. So if we don't have any other way to put immolation on them, it's kind of pointless. Okay, interesting. Tech nanobots. That's what we are kind of gunning for on this character. We're pseudo building that out. We got a tech nanobot on him. Cleansing and regenerating spores. Removes one counter of a random harmful effect at the end of the turn. And increase speed. Increase crit hit chance. These should have different icons. You can't see that. Hold on. These should have different icons. They look like the same icon. The only difference is the number on them, which is the stack count. But these are different effects. So we need that to be visually different as well. Once again, this is early access. They've got a lot of time to work on all these things, right? Called that guy Miles for a bit, though, and then got confused later that Miles was a class. There you go. Why are you starting with bleeding? You're the medic. If anyone should not be bleeding at the start of the fight, it's you. All right, let's... I guess we'll just blast. We don't... and this is a struggle with a lot of JRPG type sort of stuff, where you start with the ability to have some sort of stack of debuffs, but you don't have enough to actually make them meaningful because they're decrementing, and you know, you just don't have the capacity to accomplish much with it. So it's a little awkward. We're definitely going to lose our medic if we're not careful. Good, we did get Panacea on them, but it didn't remove the bleeding, and that's the big deal. The enemies in this game are real nasty. They tend to target your squishiest characters 99% of the time. Okay. Well, that's fine that they have, like... what am I trying to say here? That they have some sense of strategy, right? That's good. And in a JRPG, you kind of really want that, right? Because that's what's going to help keep the game intriguing and fun instead of just spamming the same attack over and over and over again. Oh, you ran away? Okay. All right, and it looks like we do heal up because we were covered in blood before, and now we're all better. Hold the line. Eco-friendly. Turn off the light. Great. Open in case of danger. So I open all the things that say don't open, but I can't open the ones that say open in case of danger. Go figure. Hey, bro. The game opens up a ton tactically once you get your first level up. So if we get there today, it's like a night and day difference. Cool. All right, we'll try and get there. You're just in time. I'm starting to run out of ammo. Now they don't stand a chance. All right. We can open that up. I'm enjoying this, right? I am liking it. I know maybe it seems like I'm complaining a lot. I'm not. I'm just saying these are areas to improve the experience on. And they're in early access, and they can do that. And it's for us as developers also to look at and say, hey, this is how we can kind of improve things. Let's put the medic far to the back. There's also a bit of a dissonance here. We have a 4-square grid, but then we're very much in a line. So either we need to stand more like we're in a grid, or we need to have this be aligned. And I see that also on our abilities when it says, like, you know, affects this target, right? It's not landing for me. Okay, you are for sure going after her. Yeah, let's just keep blasting. And then blast. Just get damage off the table. Grenade. The grenade seems so bad because we don't have any other way to put combustion on anyone. And since we don't have a way to stack combustion, it's just going to go away at the start of its turn. Applies protecting your own effects. This is a taunt. 30% of all incoming damage. Yeah, let's get that on our medic. So this is our tank. This is our melee skirmisher. This is our tank. Got it. Oh, man. Brutal. Get all of this negative junk off of yourself. And we can do the grenade that will kill him and deal some damage to these guys. It missed! Ow! Alright. Can you hit like more than one thing? I don't think so. Push target into a paralysis state. That seems Cool. But let's just get damage off the table. And all of those things did damage. This is definitely something I am sensing you can really dive into, right? You're going to be able to make good tactical decisions here. You're going to have to read a lot to get to there. All right, so you're dead. You're on a timer. We can't use this. This is the closest target. That's also closest target. So we'll use critical hits apply knockdown. Reduces target's initiative. 9 to 13 or 13 to 19. But it has a cooldown of 5 turns. That makes sense. So we'll just blast him. He got knocked down. Good. So that, I guess, used up his turn. Great. He's going to bleed out. And then blast. I think this is a good system. You know, this is essentially a JRPG, right? This is a JRPG. And I think that they have done a lot to make that an engaging formula. I see why people are saying this is similar to Darkest Dungeon. I don't disagree with that. It, in terms of, like, you have a party of characters that you are... and positioning really matters on the battlefield. I think that all works just fine. Sometimes you will encounter locked chests and doors. You can try to open them with the help of the Technicus hero and his talent hacking module. In the future, you can improve the skills. We have a rogue. I'm a little sad about that. That means, like, the Technicus is a rogue. They are going to be leveling up, lockpicking every step of the way. Oh, lockpick failed. Okay. I was trying to, like, click and space and everything, because that's the pattern that we're very familiar with, right? Is that bar moving across and you have to perfect reload it, right? Turns out that was automated, it seems like, because it was slowing down. It seemed more like a roulette wheel than it did a active timer thing. Each character has a locked passive ability that they can work towards too, which I thought was really neat, like little achievements. Okay, cool. Can I, like, select the Technicus and do that? No. So it's just locked forever. That is no longer an option for us. Okay. Ooh. Boss? I like that we heal after every fight. I like what that does for JRPGs. It turns it into a puzzle, and I've always liked that. So if you heard about it, Unity just removed its runtime fee. Yeah, we posted about that on the Discord. There's some good discussion going on around that. I don't know enough about the old and the new to really make a fine comment on it, but I think it's interesting. And it's what I've been hoping to see from Unity, of them kind of realizing we need to take a step back and we need to try and earn people's trust back again. They're being slow about it. I hope it moves in a good direction. We'll see. Being slow to develop, yeah. I have heard compile times can be rough for that. I mean, nothing like Unreal, but still can be rough. So I saw a video the other day. GameMaker 2D Fighter sent this over to me of a video of someone talking about why they swapped off of GameMaker to Unreal. But they were talking about, like, the pros and cons of each engine. And one problem they had with Unreal is it takes, like, 5 minutes to verify any change. And that's brutal, right? Like, that slows down your development pace so heavily. All right, looks like we're back from ads. Let's go ahead and dive into this boss. This dude ran away last time. We might try and target him down. But let's... I mean, we knocked all of his shields off. Whoa, we knocked a claw off. Okay. My system is slow, so I had to find all the tricks to work faster. There you go. If you plan it smart, you can use dynamic link libraries to hot reload in Unity. Okay, that's cool. I like that. I don't like that it is such a, you have to find the tricks to make it work faster, right? That feels like the sort of thing that either should come default or they should direct you towards. Actually, one of the pros of Unity over other engines if you use it right. Well, I'm curious to jump into Unity someday and kind of learn about that. You all know me. I'm for sure going to always advocate for, I shouldn't have to know how to do this in order to get its good effect. Like, it should be easy enough to use that I can just get it, right? Shouldn't be some obscure arcana hidden away But, you know, we'll see. Not really tricks, to be honest. There are settings. Sure, there are settings, but, like, do the settings make sense? Are they accessible? Like, Zapped is an accomplished developer. The fact that maybe there is a lack of awareness of that, that's a red flag for me, right? It should do nothing and be fast out of the box. Absolutely. Advocate Unity. I'm going to advocate for what helps people build games faster. That's what I'm going to advocate for. How can we get more high-quality art out into the world to improve the human experience? That's what I'm going to advocate for, whatever that is. And if Unity has really, really good workflows, that's great. I'm going to advocate for that becoming the default rather than the you have to know how to do this. And I have problems with that with Godot, to be fair. Like, there's all sorts of stuff in Godot. You all have heard me rant and rave about lots of things in Godot. Definitely hidden in the docs, to be fair. But that's why you RTFM for anything. Oh, man. I don't know how people do that. I don't know how people just sit down and read from cover to cover a manual for a game engine that is so large and expansive. Like, I don't know how you do that and retain any of the knowledge. It may be good to be like, oh, I think I might have read something maybe somewhere about this, but I don't even know if I would trust my memory on that. Learn Godot by clicking around and then later reading some of the source. Wow. Jeez. Okay. Let's help our tank out a little bit. Let's purge your negative effects. And then keep blasting. Get knocked down. Ah, boo. When the hero's initiative bar fills up to the maximum, they perform 2 turns in a row. Oh, enemies can perform double turns too. Okay, this is a new mechanic. Okay, interesting. So that's what the initiative is. Okay, I thought that was just a relativistic, this is how, like, speedy they are compared to others. But no, it is a... fill this bar up to take an extra turn. Okay, that is not clear to me. And now I'm wondering, does initiative also affect turn order? And if it does affect turn order, is it your starting initiative or your current initiative? So if I take 2 turns, am I then going to be at the end of the turn order the next time? Because I would assume that bar would deplete. Controlling initiative is, like, insanely important in this game. Okay. There's so many settings because they support so many things, but to me that's a big negative. Yeah. Also because it shows no effort to try to solve the problem first. It happens a lot in school projects. My pet peeve is people asking me stuff they could have looked up in the docs in a few minutes. I think a really important skill set to teach, number one, how to read documentation, because it is not obvious how to read documentation. But secondly, how to know how to look things up in documentation is a big deal, because a lot of the times search engines kind of suck. Like, they're just bad. So, know what to look for. I've had people send me stuff that is like, I had no clue this existed, and I went looking for this, and people were able to find it in some other area that I just didn't know about. So there's definitely a skill set to documentation. We'd be much better off in a place with more specialized tooling for specific needs. And that's a very traditional product strategy arc, right? A product comes out, it's very niche, it does a specific thing, people really like it, it gets bigger and bigger, and then a company comes along and says, hey, we will pay you money if you build this button for us. Or, hey, we would use your tool if you supported X, Y, or Z feature. And then they start to build out because businesses want to grow, they want to expand, and then they become this huge behemoth, and then some new product comes along and says, we're going to do a super targeted focused thing, and the cycle begins anew. It's just how products life cycles tend to go. And it's very hard to avoid that bloat. That's why product strategy and UX teams are so important, because they look across that space. They look at the user of things, not just the financials, not just the business strategy. They look at how are people actually using this, and they're going to be able to forecast, hey, we're getting to the point where people are unable to approach our product anymore. And there is a high potential for 2 nerds in a garage to release a tool that does the core thing that 80% of our users use our tool for, and they are going to do it better than us. And we need to pull back. We need to refactor. We need to focus on that core experience again. Why some companies and devs create their own engine? Sure. Like the Rails guy used to say, underdo your competition. Sure, I can see what they're getting at there. Let's get some health regen on our tank. And then I guess we'll just go blasting. I guess we can start trying to proc Panacea because we have a bunch of drone now. A tech nanobots effect. Repairs 2 armor. Okay, never mind. I thought we were applying this. We're not. We're applying tech nanobots, and we definitely want that. We want this guy healing up his armor a bunch. Even Godot is bloated, to be honest. I could see that. More tech nanobots. More tech nanobots! Dude, this guy has like a bajillion armor. Finally start getting some bleed on him. Okay. Ooh. Okay, I'm still alive! Provocation. Yeah, I don't know what a lot of these effects are doing. Let's get you healed up, so hopefully you don't bleed out on your turn. You are raged. We got the second phase going. Oh, he chopped off an arm. Wild shriek. Oh, he stuns everyone? Oh my gosh. So did we just lose this character forever? Are they dead? Dead. That was a really long death animation. Holy crap. Blast, blast, blast. Okay. That's one of the best things about building your own engine. Sure. I'm prototyping the UI layouts and stuff for my game. Then I'll add functionality. Then I'll record a video going through all of it to share and get feedback on in Discord. Sure, Blades. You could reanimate a fallen hero once per raid. The cost is 50 honor. Go. Do it. I know we have 50 honor. It's this one, right? Yeah, we have 150. How do I do this? Like, I can't click on him. I can't click on this button. There's nothing in the inventory screen to indicate what is going to happen here. I don't know. I don't know what this currency is. I don't know what anything costs. What are the only pros? Besides it being fun, too. You have a weird definition of fun. And I'm glad. I'm glad that people have that definition of fun. Because we get cool things because of it. I broke the game. Maybe? Okay. Oh. A pop-up just came up. That was supposed to do something. Panel in the bottom. Yeah, I don't know. So you never had someone go down? Was I just that bad? Am I too distracted? Chat, did you kill this man? Good chance of moving more towards frameworks instead of engines. You can see that. Complete mission. So since he died, is he not going to be in the next mission? Like if I could revive him, would he be with me and progress? Or is that just going to keep going forward? Okay, well, you got experience, so I'm assuming you'll come back? Wait, no. This guy. Got no experience. Oh, dude, they're gone. Oh, brutal. Wow, that sucks. Okay, I wish I knew how to revive people. Game looks like Darkest Dungeon, makes sense to be permadeath. Sure. Brilliant work, son. You deserve a rest. But now is not the time for that. Bad writing. After the bugs attacked, I sent out reconnaissance units to assess the situation around us. Our scouts have encountered formidable hostile forces and need assistance. The coordinates have been sent to your module. Lieutenant, your job is to find and guide the survivors to the ship. The squad is at your disposal. Go at once. Conduct the rescue operation. So, we still don't know why we're here. All we know is we are Space Marines helping people. we don't know what the plot is. We don't know what organization we're from. We don't know what we're trying to accomplish. I need a little bit of that. I need some epic meaning to tell me. You need Dragon Balls to revive people. Shoot. New missions are shown as icons on the map. Click on the icon for more information. The hero screen shows all the units you have recruited. The info card shows all the basic characteristics. Class portrait, name and level, health and fatigue, and experience bar. Okay. I do feel like we're over-explaining things. So we can level up Durio here. I don't know how we get to these. Oh, at level 11, we can start doing that. Woo! Okay, special training. This combatant gets an attribute bonus for each member in current squad depending on their class. Okay, that's cool. On the first turn of combat, applies combat readiness effect on some. Well, yeah, definitely do that. Is this my total skill points that I have? And what is this? What is this purple stuff? This needs to be way bigger. This needs to be way smaller. Because I have no idea what to do with this. This is clearly my skill points, but it doesn't look like skill points. This needs to be fixed. Didn't get super far, but I know that none of them know why they're on this planet. Probably gets explored more later. They kind of crash landed here. But they would have been going somewhere to accomplish something, right? So, like, when you come out of cryosleep, have like a, oh my gosh, are we at the mission? No, we crash landed. We need your help. Like, our ship is down. We need to figure out a way to get it up and running again, right? Have some sort of a telling me what it is that we're trying to do. And then over time say, wait, I thought we were going on a peacekeeping mission to help the Blovians. Yeah, but then something happened. They think it was sabotage, right? Like something to bring this all together. When ambush applies combat readiness on self and a random ally. What does combat readiness do? Oh, that is so far away from the other tooltip. Increases initiative by 10%. Once again, I don't know if initiative is your turn order, or if it is just that meter, or if it's both somehow and how the rules apply to it. I'm still very unclear on that. Nano welding, we can repair armor. That's cool. Let's just get more readiness. I like passives. Oh, and passive and active skill are the same color. In which case, I don't think they need to be a color. I think you can make that smaller, and you already have it as a circle versus a square to indicate passive versus that. So you could put active skill. All right. Here we go. You. And you. We're going to do nano welding. And you are like this yellow color. And then we're going to do passive, active skill. Good. Make that light. We're going to bring down the font down to like a 12. Look at that. It all fits. And now we have more room for the effect. This is... Active skill is much more about its identity as an ability, not what the ability does, right? So we have the profile, the name, active skill, and then we have all the effect stuff down there. This would be such an easy win, and it reduces the amount of colors on the screen, which makes it easier to parse out. That active skill does not need to be down where it is. My opinion. Highly recommend going for the abilities that enter you into combo stance, and then ones that trigger combos. That's when the game gets... Combos? I didn't see anything about combos. I don't see anything about combos. Triggers combo. Ignores armor. Okay. Increases the chance to apply the bleeding effect to the target by 25%. So this is if we want to go like bleeding. It's an attribute bonus for each member. So you can... The special training is for everyone, I guess. Increase initiative damage from each hit by 2%. Let's go deep cuts. I've been using that a lot. Abata. The dead came back to life? I guess so. Yeah, I guess they did. I thought they didn't level up either, but... What is this? Is this level? I would have assumed this was level, but then I had a skill point. Yeah, we're level 1, but we got to level him up. I do not understand this progression. To target without armor applies... To target without armor. Applies poison times 2 effect. That needs to be rewritten. Apply poison times 2 effect to target without armor. Is probably what it was supposed to say. Or have, like, target, like, keywords or something to shorten that and bring that down. Okay. So we can go poison. When ambush applies, panacea times 2 effect on self. Dodge, crit damage, crit hit chance. Sure, let's go poison. And then applies an additional poison times 1 effect. Sure, you're a poisoner. We're not going to do any healing. Let's go. So much! Read the mission information and assemble the squad by placing them in the slots. The longer a character spends time in raids, the more they get tired. Darkest dungeon. Heroes with fatigue over 85% cannot be sent to missions, shown by the yellow bar. Okay. So dying, I'm assuming, pumped up his exhaustion a whole bunch. Okay. Very darkest dungeon. Very darkest dungeon. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. Conduct a rescue operation. Once again, we have these different colors. I don't think they're needed. Typography. Typography is your core building block for your game. Nail your typography. Endo, good to see ya. How you doing, friend? You start with a skill point, I think. Your level 2s have 2 skill points. Okay, you start with a skill point that I guess I couldn't spend, or maybe I could have spent earlier and I just didn't know it. Let's get into the game. I need to keep going. I saw something highlight while we were panning over the camera. I'm wondering if I could have, if I was fast enough, clicked on something there and gotten that ahead of time. Son, our sensors are picking up a faint signal near you. Follow it and find out what's there. Okay, once again, we have all this currency. I have no idea what the currency does. All right, more bugs. We just leveled up our bleeding, so let's go try and get bleeds going. We're going for dots. More dots. More dots. This guy does, like, no damage. You are definitely a buff character. So they are playing smart, right? Like, they put the cleanse on the guy that had the stuff on them. They are throwing the regen on what I'm trying to focus down. It's interesting. Like, it makes me wonder if there's something about kind of tricking the eye. Get them to invest all of their turns over here and then divert your attention somewhere else. Get some more poison going. Stabby, stabby. I feel like this can be wonderful if merged with Metroidvania. That's interesting. I'm curious how you would merge it with a Metroidvania. So those guys just run away if the front line dies, which could be good, could be bad. I think we lose resources and experience, but we get the fight easier. Thank God you're here. Soldier, report. While exploring the area, we got ambushed. They wiped out my squad and dragged away the survivors, but luckily I had my makeup kit on me. Bloody hell. Looks like these critters have intelligence, which means we're in trouble. We can't abandon our people. Find them. They couldn't have gotten far. Let's go. All right. Task. Pursue the enemy. I mean, we know it's a task because it's in this window. Okay, so it's like a dungeon. I really like a lot of the bones of this game. I love the gameplay. I think that the progression is going to be really interesting and fun. I think there's a lot, but it is very clear that it's in early access. Like, there's a lot they need to do to tidy this experience up. Which is fine. But boy, does it need to happen. And I'm excited for when it does, because I'm sure that it will. They clearly have a good team that's involved. They are doing good things. Like, I'm not worried about them being able to execute on it. It's just a matter of when they are able to muster it, because they just, you know, they have light resources. It's a small team. But I'm very excited for it when they do. Okay. Adding more exploration and skill unlocking. Nice. I can kind of see that. Once again, we haven't really seen enough. We spent so much time talking UI. We haven't been able to see a whole lot of the gameplay. We may do a second episode on this in order to get further into the game, because I feel like we're not really seeing what it has available to itself. All targets in a line. Sure. Blop. Definitely good resources. This feels like just Darkest Dungeon in space more than anything to me. can see why you might say that. I think we're not getting to the parts that really differentiate it yet. I feel like we're very much so still in the tutorial. We have all these currencies we have no clue what to do with. We have like all of these facilities that are going to come online. We have equipment that we're supposed to be probably selling and everything. We have career evolutions, which I'm really excited about. I think this is going to be a lot more, but it's going to be something that is uncovered over time more than immediately apparent. And there's something to be said about that, right? Like, we should have the value propositions for our game be right up front and center. Okay, dead. You are so bad. You're like a waste of a character. Gosh, dang it. It's not a negative. I mean, it kind of is. It kind of is if that's all that people are perceiving, right? You don't want to be, oh, this is the same game but in a different setting, and that is the only difference. You want same game in a different setting, which means these types of things are changed about it, and that makes it an interesting experience, right? So you do need to diversify it, and you need to make people aware of what that diversity is. You don't think Technicus is useful? I found him to be, like, required in every party. Well, just he's not dealing any damage. The buffs that he's applying seem fairly minor. I don't know. Maybe I'm just dead wrong. And we'll get this guy to run away so we don't bleed out or anything. But oh, you get 2 turns. Can we kill him before he takes his turn? Must have different playstyles, and I love that. Very interesting to watch you play. I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing his buffs, and, like, they're all random proc-based. So it feels like in a big boss fight, he gets better because his odds of applying those buffs goes up. But apart from that, like, early on, it just seems like he can't really accomplish much. But maybe I'm just wrong. All right. That. I really do want to get further in this game because I feel like there's a lot more waiting here that I am not getting to experience. Got some new armor. Throw that on you. Did we get a new drone? MedLab. Is that for you? Ah, okay. So it's a drone item type, but not the dude that has drones. Okay. That's confusing, but okay. Yeah, I just keep running into that. Like, oh, this is confusing, but now that I understand it, it'll probably be okay. Like, if they can just iron out a lot of those little bumps and then bring that value proposition really far forward, I think that it's a huge banger. Something to be said about a character having an impact, but the player can't feel the impact. Sure, yeah. Little eyeball you can click to hide all the items whatever class you're looking at can't equip. Oh! Yeah, and see, like, this is so overwhelming to me that I just haven't really been exploring that at all. Oh, and these are the achievements you were talking about. Finish off an enemy 50 times, and now you get increased crit damage by 25%. That's cool. Localization key. Okay, I'm assuming this is placeholder text. This is broken. This is a bug. Got it. Okay. Good night. Let's try and take this row down. Like those passive skills, that's a neat concept. It is a neat concept, especially for like a campaign game that's not necessarily a roguelike, where you can replay things and try and get into that build and make that happen. I think that there's something to be said for that for sure. Let's get your debuffs off. Gives ownership to the characters. Yeah. Okay, so we did get some tech nanobots on him, which are going to repair his armor. That's good. Pull the trigger. Shot that deals a bunch of damage. Potentially 42. So can we kill this guy? Oh, so close. 5 health left. Brutal. Yeah, let's just get rid of you. And then the tech nanobots restore armor, right? So let's get your armor back up and running. Start applying some debuffs here, some bleeds. And then, what does laser targeting do? Impairs enemies' dodge and speed. Speed is different from initiative, I guess? Is speed turn order and initiative is taking 2 turns? That is just very confusing to me. Does Figma have collaboration capabilities? Figma was built on multiplayer. Yeah, that was like the original big value add for Figma, was being able to have a bunch of people in your file. That's become a little controversial nowadays, but that was the original selling point. All right. Let's just kill you. They're applying so much regen, it kind of feels a little impossible to outpace the regen with dots at this point. Miles dying Mayo, so he didn't get to level 2. The sniper class has the ability to get combo, and Miles has an ability that triggers that you can get to level 2. Okay, interesting. So yeah, combo definitely seems like a big system that we are not getting to really observe here. Youch, dude. Did that hit everything in a line? Oh, he's probably guarded or something, right? Ah, the hover time on this is killer. What is this? There we go. Redirects 50% of all incoming damage to the protector. Yeah, okay. There we go. Sniper blast. Ouchie. No! Stop it! Oh, this is so bad. There we go. Pull the trigger. Zap. Okay. Let me reanimate you. Oh, I have to click and hold! Oh, that was not obvious at all. The color contrast, once again, the yellow on that was nearly imperceptible, and we weren't getting enough on that. Like, you need to kick it up to like a quarter of the way on click. Start at 25%, not at 0, and then make that color a lot more obvious. Oh, brutal, dude. Okay. Now we know. Each class has a different way to enter a combo state, and if you trigger a combo, they all do stuff at the same time outside of their turn. That sounds awesome, and really builds into that concept of being a military fighting team, right? I like that. That's a neat way to bring in that sort of fantasy into the mechanics. Okay. Son, the sensors have detected the movement of a large creature at the cave exit. Be alert. Great. This is fine. Let's get laser targeting on you, because I think that's going to reduce your speed and everything, right? So, debuffs right at the start. Sounds like a good idea. Super peel out. What? Heavyweight. Immune to all control effects except provocation. Repairs 6 armor every turn, and increases initiative. Okay. We now have bleeding on a bunch of dudes. Let's get bleeding off of you, because you're definitely more fragile. Bleed. One thing I'd like in this game is voiceovers. I understand that, yeah. And then I guess we just knock him down with the sniper, right? Jeez. And then the bio-nanobots are healing, so let's throw those on there, get some regen going. Everyone has to stand back up, get another sniper shot off. Jeez, are these guys going to get to do anything? Or are they just going to be a wall to stop the Sonic the Hedgehog Beetle Man over there. Jeez. Target skips our next turn. Yeah, that is so rough. Get more Panacea on. Stabby, stabby. Need to get some health regen on this guy. Give me a break. God. Whenever a game has too much text, should always look for ways to add voices to reduce that text reading time. Sure. It's rough. You know, this is a team of 4 people, so I understand why that's not at the top of their priority list. That being said, I know people who are trying to get into voice acting, and if you want free voiceover work, I got people who are wanting to do projects to get them on their portfolio. Reach out. What is this? Shocked. There we go. Deal minus 2% initiative damage for every counter. So it does health damage equal to 2% of your initiative, or it is taking your initiative bar back. It's dealing damage to your initiative bar. I'm guessing it's the latter. It's still a little confusing for me, though. Oh, is StreamerBot broken? Hold on, let's reload. Apologies. People offering to do free voiceover? Yeah, I got some folks that would love to get some projects done. As long as it's like an actual project that will get published. All right. Pull the trigger. There we go. Not dead yet. Second phase? Okay. Tragically, this squad is dead, but you managed to avenge them. I didn't avenge them, you rolled away. What are you talking about? Alright, level ups. What is this? Amount of health restored during the raid. Oh, so this is our, like, progress report. This is our damage tracker. Okay, that's good to know. Since it's a bar, and the experience is a bar, I thought this was, like, leveling up healing or something. Wrong. I was wrong. Okay. I do think that same shape does communicate that relationship. There's probably a better layout here to communicate what's going on, but I understand it now. Got it. Okay. Is this, like, how much I could have done compared to how much I did? Like, what is the bar here telling me? I don't know what the bar is saying. Son, you did the best you could. It's a shame about our boys, but shit happens. This attack has been repelled, but it looks like we're stuck here, which means we have a war ahead of us with a little-known enemy. Let me refresh your memory, Lieutenant. I'm Megan Quinn, Expedition Leader. I'll introduce you to the team and bring you up to speed. While we were in hypersleep, for unknown reasons, the ship made an emergency landing. We need this earlier. We need this a lot earlier. At the very latest, after the first tutorial mission. We don't know what this place is. It's an area of space that has not been explored by mankind. The ship is badly damaged and needs to be repaired. The colonization protocol provides different levels of access. Oh, higher pitch, please? Higher pitch, please. The colonization protocol provides different levels of access for each bay. Time to refresh your memory, Lieutenant. Start tutorial? What are you talking about? We were already in a tutorial. Your balance is displayed. Your balance? Like your currencies? Expand access to the med bay, opening 2 beds. This will allow fatigued heroes to rest. That need to be different windows. Well done. Now switch to the Cryo Center's Improvements tab. Unlock access to 2 cryo capsules. This will allow you to recruit new combatants. Okay. Follow me and I'll introduce you to the crew. Dr. Sleer is our chief medical officer and microbiologist. His team studies the local flora and fauna, collect any biosamples you come across on the surface. My friend, we don't have much time. Run the casualty registration procedure through the terminal. After each battle, your soldiers accumulate fatigue. To remove fatigue, place the wounded soldier in a recreational capsule. Oh boy. You get 25% off fatigue. Whoa, that's not a lot. 4 raids to restore 75+% fatigue. While on the ship your heroes rest, they passively regenerate 2% health each raid. Okay, great. So I can't click on these to get rid of them. Consistency, 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 universal language, all that fun stuff. My goodness. Great. Rehabilitating your people will take some time. Let's move on to the Cryo Center. You've already met Aurora, and you're already familiar with this compartment. This is where your journey began. Unfortunately, we don't have the option of waking everyone up at once, but you can use credits to replenish your squad. What am I buying with credits? Currently, your balance allows you to hire 2 recruits, as prescribed in the colonization system protocol. This needs to be some other resource that justifies not being able to open everything. Like, money makes no sense here. Watch how to operate the terminal for the hypersleep capsules. Hire a new combatant from any slot by waking them from cryosleep. This feels like the same layout as the doctor's place we were in before, which is a little confusing. Here you can dismiss unwanted units. Click on this window to close. Oh, this tutorial is frustrating me. Follow me, Lieutenant. Great, you can get new equipment at the arsenal. Bob and his drone Jay will meet you there. I got work to do. I don't think we need that last line. Click the button in the top bar to enter the arsenal. Hello, cool art. I like this guy. This guy's cool. Inventory. Can I sell? Just like everything? Just sell. Can I click and drag? Ooh. We need a sell vendor trash button. Okay. We can equip you. What else do we have that we can equip? We can equip you. Equip you. Well, is that better? Green is better, yeah. And that green is better. Yeah, it's roughly similar, whatever. More damage versus bleeding. That sounds good. And then that, and then that. Okay. Let's go ahead and sell everything else. Well, maybe not these two because we don't have anyone high enough level to use them yet, but... This shop looks terrible. I don't think we're going to be getting anything out of there. Okay. Fat Winter Soldier. So we could throw someone else in here. Like, we could throw Nicasius in there if we wanted to. We can level up. This is our combo skill? Triggers combo. Okay, so there's the triggers combo part. And then... Is there any way to generate combo? Each hit applies acid? Every hit? So, like, when he hits 3 times with one attack, that applies 3 acid? That sounds outrageous. Okay, Amanda has leveled up. Triggers combo, but is there anything that will generate combo? I want combo generation. I'm not actually seeing anything apply, like, generate combo. So maybe triggers combo, like, everything will trigger by itself. Don't quote me on this, but I think combat concentration is the combat stance. Is the combo stance. Combat concentration. For Amanda? I don't know which character that's on. Combat readiness. It's purple. Your sniper has it on the leftmost skill. You unlock. Oh, enacts combat. See, I couldn't even really see that. Enacts combat concentration. I don't know what that means. That language could be better. Enacts is a weird one. Character is ready to make a combo hit. This effect is applied after finishing off an enemy or activating a skill. Okay. An ally can initiate a combo attack using a skill marked with triggers combo, consuming this effect in the process. Effect loses 1 counter at the end of the round. Okay. Sure. So we can buy more of this. We can do level 5 heroes will appear for purchase. You can replace heroes in cryo capsules with random new ones. Okay, you can exchange stuff. Okay. Cool. So we can go to the map now. And... Jeez, there's a lot of missions now. Broken. Look at this. Yeah, seems like it's early access. So this is our base. Here we go. General cleanup. Help Colonel Grom conduct a general cleanup by clearing the ship of bug remnants. Sure. Can I hit engage? No, I can't. So let's throw in some of these characters. Let's try and see what this combo is all about before we end for the day. Actually, give me one quick second. Give me one quick second. Oh boy, Jack. All right, so I'm going to have to do this incredibly fast. Incredibly fast. We're just going to see what the combo does, and we're going to have to raid out, and I'm going to have to run because I got to get my daughter to preschool. But let's see what happens here. So we can do enacts combat stance. Does that. They're going to take their turns. Come on. So now we have combo. I don't think she has anything that triggers combo, so we'll just blast. Do not like this guy. All right, now we have triggers combo. They both attack. There we go. Spectacular. Execute combo, and now he had a combo. But it was the end of the round, so it got cleared off. Interesting. Interesting. So you can theoretically kind of like chain these combos together. I think that's really interesting. Okay. Folks, I'm so sorry. I've got to run. But this has been so much fun. Thank you for hanging out with us today. This has been such a joy. We're going to go ahead and raid out to somewhere else. Thank you for the stream. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Endo, Flux, Incredibro, Zaft, Jack, Prodigal, so many others. Blades, of course. K Hadao. I'm scrolling back. Nemphis, Symbol, all you fine folks. If I didn't get to you, I'm so sorry. Byrite, great to see you again as well. We're going to raid out to Nurkmine. It's been a long time since we've raided into Nurkmine. We're going to go hang out with him. Thank you so much for following us today. We're going to be back tomorrow with more analysis. We're going to be jumping into... what's tomorrow? What do we have on the docket for tomorrow? It's going to be the Corpsemen, which is Pokemon, but you are Frankensteining your Pokemon together by sewing together bits. I'm not exaggerating that at all. It's going to be a wild ride. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you all then to see what they do well and what they can improve on.